Okay, we are in Module 12, Leadership Necessities, Lesson number 2, Dealing with People Relations. Okay, first and foremost, you have to understand in order to be a leader, you must have followers. So you can never be in leadership of any kind without having to deal with people. So if you're a person that doesn't like to deal with people, you're going to have a difficult time being in leadership. So let's kind of talk about what people relations are. Basically, it's easy. It is the ability to listen to people and to maintain positive relationships with them, whether it's in the workforce, whether it's in your church, or whether it's in your community, whatever it is. And in order to maintain positive relationships to people, it's all about communication, it's all about trust, and it's all about being able to actively listen. So, active listening is not about listening and talking over people or thinking you hear what people are going to say and then cut them off and start speaking. Active listening requires time to sit down with the person to truly hear what they're going to say or what they have to say. And when they finish speaking, to respond to them with respect and appreciation for the information that they brought forward or even the concern. So, what you should understand about positive relationships, and I wrote this down, so I'm going to be looking at my paper because I got a lot of good information that I wrote down for you guys. Positive relationships keep lines of communication open within your organization and allow problems to be resolved at the lowest level. You want to make sure that problems are resolved in the beginning when the person has the problem before they become a bigger issue and the very first time that they come to someone. Typically, what happens if people are not heard, they will go outside your organization. So if they come to you and you're in a supervisory position or a team lead position of some kind and you don't listen, they're going to go up the chain to a manager. If the manager doesn't listen or doesn't do anything or follow up with them, then they're going to go to the director. If the director doesn't do anything, then typically they're going outside. They're going to talk to your EOC. They're going to talk to a lawyer. If they're a union position, they're going to talk to a union business agent to file a grievance. So it's so many things and so many places that people can go to have problems resolved that we have to understand that it is best when they're resolved at the lowest level because once again, when we don't resolve problems, it messes with our credibility. Know this, it takes 12 positive experiences to overcome one negative. One negative. So if you do something wrong or don't act on something someone tells you or don't listen to them, guess what happens? The next time that they come to you, they're going to need 11 additional times of you positively responding for them to get over that one time that you didn't, or that one time you didn't build that credibility with them or may have treated them badly when they did come to you. So it is so important. As with anything, it is so hard to construct good things, good relationships, but it only takes a millisecond to destruct or tear down something. So it's important. Number 2, it decreases tension and stress and even trauma in the workplace. If you are that person that has ever had a boss that created tension, stress, anxiety, and Sunday nights come and you're getting ready for work the next day and you have all this Sunday night anxiety, you can't sleep for wondering what's going to happen when you get there the next day. If you are the boss that is creating that particular environment, shame on you. It's time to make some changes because no one should feel that way about coming to work. That is trauma, and trauma is tied to all of those bad behaviors that we talked about in chapter 5. Number 3, it increases productivity and engagement and also motivation in people. You want an engaged workforce. You want people who care, who come to work and they not only do what they have to do, they're not robots or widget makers. They literally want to go the extra mile to do more. When a workforce is happy, you get more out of them than you do if they're not. Number 4, morale is high. I always think about that word morale, Morale. The first portion of it is moral. When I talked about morals earlier, values. So when the values in the organization are high, And when they're being lived out and demonstrated, people are happier at work. So they're happy. The value is a great morale. Number five, it minimizes the risk of legal costs to the organization. Like I talked about in number one, when they go out and file legal claims, depending on how much money your organization makes, a legal claim can literally shut you down. It could be a situation where if you have to pay punitive damages based on things that should have been done and weren't done, you could really be opening yourself and your company up to not only scrutiny, but being closed down. And if your company has deep pockets, big organizations, sometimes people are coming for you. But even though the company might have to pay, they can name you in a civil suit individually if you're a leader in that organization or a manager. So that's really important to understand. And sometimes an organization will say, I am not going to pay the legal costs for what this person did. They're on their own. It can happen. Number six, turnover is low, retention is high. So it affects the bottom line of the financials of the organization. When you're constantly turning people over, it costs the organization money. For every person that leaves the organization, it's about 122% of their annual salary to replace them. So it can be very expensive. I just want you to take, let's say, a $15 an hour employee that makes $31,200 in a year. You take that times 122%, and you're paying about $38,000 to replace them when you think about it. And those replacement costs include ads, advertisement. It includes interviewing time, the salaries of the people that interview, the salaries of the people who actually have to train them. It also includes the time lost of persons that are doing their work and dividing the responsibilities. So it's very important to make sure you care about people and not keep turning people over. So if you're a department of 20 and you have 6 open positions, you're costing your organization a lot more money than you think you are. So it is not okay to show up at work and just be who you want to be. You have to be who they want you to be, and not in a form of conformity, but in a form of showing great values and insight and being a good person. So, this is why I say it's important for organizations to hire the right type of people. Okay, so you build a house. Let's say it's your house. You build a house and it's a big, beautiful mansion, and you need 30 people to staff your mansion. You're going to interview people that A, are trustworthy because you don't want them to steal from you. You're going to interview people who you can trust to cook your food and are not going to try to kill you. So you probably won't be hiring people who come in looking like Satanists. You're going to hire people that you can trust around your children. So there's so many different things that you want to think about as you're building your house. Okay, you might have guests and you might entertain. So you want your staff to look a certain way. You want them to be professional. This is what organizations do when they set their employee handbooks and their rules. It's not that they're trying to make people unhappy in an organization. No, it's that they're trying to make people understand this is the house that we built and this is our expectation of the people that come in. If you cannot live up to these expectations, then this probably is not the place for you. And no harm, no foul, find the place for you. But it is not okay to come into that house and say, I accept that job and I want that job, and then show up and decide to be a rebel and not do what the organization has asked you to do. They're paying you to do what they ask you to do. And that's what you're supposed to do. So, once again, your values need to align with the organizational values, because if they don't, when you show up authentically, you will show up and have problems or create problems in that organization. So your authenticity has to align with the values of that organization. And you have to treat people with respect every time, whether it be your employees, whether it be the customers or the vendors. Respect is required at all times, every time.